What's happening? Just off in my usual mode. This is going to be a progress report. Oh, my last day at work, so, you know, take a couple sips here and there if you don't mind. Well, anyway, this is a kind of a progress report on the D2 EDC that I made. Pretty good, actually. Held up very well. I need to probably fold that over somehow because it just keeps getting, you know, I throw my clothes in the corner and it just like trains it to hang like that overnight. But anyway, all in all, not bad. The stitching held pretty well. I thought I was going to have an issue with this, but it held up pretty well. In and out of the truck all the time. This thing here, I might stay away from this in the future, this configuration, because I walk past something and it'll do this. So every time I walk past something and it brushes up against my side, I'll come up and sure as shit it'll be popped open like that. But all in all, the blade, I did not touch it up at all. I wanted to see how it would do. And it's starting to kind of dull out a little bit, but it's been 5 days of not like hard use, not like batoning wood, camping, or nothing like that. But, you know, cutting cardboard boxes open, cutting plastic, stabbing through cardboard to run bale wire, stuff like that. And it's still bitey. It's not. I mean, not dull, it's starting to dull. It's still bitey, kind of bitey. And to be quite honest, it's actually been one of the best edge-holding knives I've ever carried. And you know, I have all kinds of knives. I never showcased my Benchmades, but I just kept noticing that many steels that I've carried in the past, like, will lose an edge in a matter of, turn this shit down. I guess you could say that this dubstep stuff that people are playing now kind of grew on me. I'm listening to more of it, but that's what it is, like the Skrillex type stuff. Well, anyway, it's I think it's one of the better holding edges I've ever had, and I like the steel type. And I want to show you something about D2. I don't know if you see that. There's a bit of discoloration right there as it's showing up. It's like spottiness, and it's like kind of yellow. I mean, it looks like rust. It's like very, very thin though, and they call it discoloration. And whenever you read about D2, and it, all in all though, I can't complain about it. I mean, if this was 01, I love 01. 01's awesome, but if this had been moisture on 01, as I made a point also to like not really. I washed it several times, just kind of wiped it down and threw it back in the sheath just to see what kind of corrosion resistance it has. And if this had been 01, it would look like I left it in the backyard. You know, like that one girl brought in that knife back to me, the girly knives I refinished. I mean, it looked like she like cut lemons and forgot to wipe it down. But that's the discoloration right there. So if it's just a matter of that, and I have a superior edge holding ability, I'd rather just go ahead and keep that. And I'm sure, I don't know, I need to try a little bit of oil here. Let's see how easy that comes off. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. See how the oil does. Because oil sometimes will take the rust off of something. And it looks like it's lifting slightly. You know, maybe a piece of Scotch-Brite or some fine sandpaper, it'll lift slightly, which, you know, if you're going to use Scotch-Brite, don't get all heart set on your mirror polished D2 blade. Yeah, it's starting to lift, actually. This little bit of oil is actually starting to lift this discoloration. It's just plain Hoppy's 9 gun oil. Yeah, you can still see it there, but it's starting to come up a bit. Well, anyway, that's the EDC fixed blade that I made with the orange handles. And carried it all week. And I'm not going to carry it this week because my boss is coming back from vacation, and I don't think he likes the fixed blade hanging off me. The one that took over said it's fine because he carries a fixed blade, a small one. But I just wanted to pack that. Well, anyways, the good news is, though, he doesn't mind my folder when it's concealed. So I'll be carrying this coming week. I'll be packing this. And, of course, I use D2 for this one, too. And so far, the lock is engaging on this knife. I've been... I just was messing around with it last night, and I knew it needs some file work on the lock face. So I just snapped it open, and it's engaging. And I don't know if you can see in the corner here. Spine whack test. It's still open. Ooh. And it seems like the symmetry on the lock looks pretty good. It seems like I got a good angle. I don't know if you can see the lock face. That's the lock face I used when I sanded it. So anyway, some additions I'm going to be making to this thing. I added a third screw because this stuff was starting to kind of come up in the corners here and it looked kind of ratty ass. In fact, it still does kind of come up back here a little bit because there's a bit of a screw protruding here. So I put that there to kind of hold it down so it looks okay. Anyways, these here, I'm going to get a piece of G10. I'm going to cut like a little, this is the one I screwed up on. I'm going to cut a little base to fill this in right here and make it flat. I'm going to run a piece of titanium off of here for the clip. Okay, then I'm going to take a couple more extra screws. I'm going to snug those over that titanium really good. I'm going to use some blue Loctite on it. So I'm going to have blue Loctite down here on these screws. Then I'm going to have the other stuff holding the titanium thing on. Then I'm going to grind these down to face to cut to match the titanium lock face. It's a screwed up way of doing it. I should have threaded the liners, but I just didn't. I don't know. I need to get better with tapping stuff. I need to get some better taps. I need to get a more comprehensive set of taps. So this is like loose right now, but that'll be all tightened up. The back of it, I mean, I don't know if you see the. I guess you could say that the washers are thin enough, and it has a decent looking. You know, it holds up against that stop pin. A stop pin's massive. I just used the stop pin from a local hardware store. Round stainless steel stock. I'm gonna give you a fine close up of it looking what it looks like now. But this will be cleaned up. I'll have a clip on this. I'm gonna try to go for a deeper hollow grind and polish that out a little bit more. I mean, there's a couple small errors I laid into there. I used a plain piece of tubing and a stainless screw for that thumb stud. So anyway, that's the progress report. Went over a little too longer than my normal videos. And you know, when I do this final mock-up, I'm going to do a video on the pitfalls of a liner lock knife. And it's interesting. Oh, another thing too, I actually, some crap happened where I put the detent hole a little too big. So I'm going to have to, and what's funny is the detents, that's where the detent engages. So there's a little bit of blade poking out. I got to punch a hole next to the detent bearing, put another bearing in, and that should snug it down okay. I mean, I could carry this okay, but I don't know. I just like the idea of having it snug on a detent bearing, the blade not popping out unless I actuate it. So, but that's the progress report. I should have this one done by tomorrow night or this weekend. So, sorry the video kind of went long, on the long side.